Bizarre Brain Comics. Oh, hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time we're going to go way, way back to 1963 to take a look at this here issue of Space Family Robinson, number 5, from Gold Key Comics. And you might go, Space Family Robinson? Yeah, it kind of inspired by the success a few years before of the Disney movie Swiss Family Robinson. But said, hey, it'd be kind of neat to put it in space. And so they did that, Space Family Robinson. But a few years later, Irwin Allen Productions produced the show Lost in Space, which they originally was planning on calling Space Family Robinson, because it was of course the Robinsons were lost in space, and the editors and executives at Gold Key Western had considered maybe suing them for it, but at that time, Gold Key had the license for Irwin Allen's Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, so they were producing those comics. So to keep things friendly, they didn't sue Irwin Allen, and Irwin Allen let them use the title Lost in Space. It was, of course, the complete title of the series changed to Space Family Robinson in small letters, Lost in Space in big bold letters, and then in small letters again, on Space Station 1. But, of course, all us kids ever saw was Lost in Space. and I can remember reading and saying, how come the characters aren't the same as in the show? The spaceship is different. Stuff like that all the time. Well, and the series, of course, was created by Del Connell and Dan Spiegle. And Del Connell, I guess he was the writer up until issue 7. After that, all the issues were written by Gaylord Dubois, and all the issues for the whole 20 or so year run was by Dan Spiegle. So it's probably the single the single title that he is most closely identified with. Although, of course, Dan Spiegle did all kinds of stuff. And of course, years later, after Gold Key went away, he did all kinds of stuff with other publishers in the 80s, including DC. But it's a good, always a good, fun science fiction romp in this book. But I think this is the oldest issue I've got. But unfortunately, this is at the time when you'd have the cover, the great cover painting by George Wilson, and they would put instead of having an ad on the back cover, they would do the painted front cover printed on the back without the title and stuff on it as a pinup. Well, unfortunately, whoever first got this cut that off, as well as the last 4 pages of the book, but did not affect the story at all. I don't know what was on those last 4 pages, but may well have been a backup story for all I know. But so here we go. Space Family Robinson, a fantastic mirage, a space giant, unworldly creatures all confront the Robinsons in the mist of delusion. And of course, as I said before, Dan Spiegle, he was just a great artist. Did all kinds of stuff, and he was so good at doing the realistic and adventurous stuff. He did, some Western stuff. Of course, he did Korak, Son of Tarzan, for a couple years. And of course, years later, was doing stuff from in Disney comics like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and the like. So let's have a look here at this book. Okay, here is our story, The Mist of Delusion. And of course, it's got here. And of course, they often have on the inside covers and other pages just some nice science or historical information. This is stuff about seagoing vessels, life on a windjammer. Okay, let's show. So here we are, Space Station 1, not the Jupiter 2, Space Station 1, and that and they got lost in space, and they're trying to find their way back to Earth. Now there's just the four of them, Craig and June, the parents, and their kids, Tim and Tam, with the parrot Yacker and the dog Clancy. So they're scoping stuff out. So look, there's some kind of misty thing out here in space, and it encroaches on their ship, and somehow is seeping in right in through their sealed windows and stuff. They don't know what it is, but it's not radiation. They don't know what it is, but it's making them all dopey and starting to fall asleep. And Craig, just before he passes out, adjusts the controls and to take the ship out of the mist, and hopefully he's hoping it'll take them to Earth. Well, that's because that's what they're hoping. Some hours later, they wake up and find out, well, doggone. Looks like they're in orbit around Earth, but we've only been out for 10 hours. No way we could have gotten here but it looks like Earth, all right. The mother stays back on the space station, and Craig takes the kids, and they get off in one of their shuttle called Space Mobiles, and they come down. Oh, that's New York City. Oh. And they're scoping stuff out, and it's all kind of misty stuff clear down there, but they see no people, nothing anywhere. When they go to land, and they see, ooh, these creepy critters start coming towards them when they take off again, and in the process, they apparently crash into the dome of the Capitol building, but then they get out, and it's not. That should have smashed our ship, but it didn't. And it turns out now then the whole city just fades away. Everything fades away. And it's either in a dank, swampy, foresty area, very peaty, and it's all. And here come these plant-like critters coming after them again. Oh, try to snatch them, and suddenly out comes this giant and starts throwing these plant people away, and saves the Robinsons. And although they can't communicate, they realize he's friendly. They get out their universal translator. Plus, this giant guy is a bit telepathic as well. So they communicate. Says there's all these crystalline structures and stuff, and they start falling. It's kind of collapsing, and that's dangerous. He moves their ship a little bit, and so it's everything's safe. They communicate. Find out he was lured there the same way they were, through the mist. He saw what he wanted to see, and that was it. And but my ship has crashed, and I can't get, and my home planet is too far away, and my radio doesn't work and all this stuff. So we'll see if we can communicate for you. So they transmit to the space station. Space station transmits on to his home planet, his message. Then the kids are looking around, and they're assaulted and captured by the plant beings, and they see that they're in these nets, and they see that they've got these. There's all these pools here that the plant beings kind of stand in, and all this junk that they have collected from the various ships that have crashed there. And it turns out, using the communicator, the translator, that they can figure out what's going on, communicate with this guy, and what they do is they catch the beings from the crashed planes, crashed spacecraft. The planet produces this mist and causes the hallucinations and makes people crash there, and then these beings can take the inhabitants and they put them in these pools, which dissolves them into nutrients, which they then feed on. So they're basically eating the people. Well, Tim has said, wait, they've been wanting to get the giant, but he's just too big and strong for him. And so, well, I can help you get it. It's a ruse. He looks through the pile of junk and he finds something he can use. And then they goes to the going to go to the giant. Meanwhile, Craig and the giant are looking for the kids. And Tim's got this blaster gun, and while he goes to zap at him, he's intentionally missing and trying to transmit the thoughts, hoping his friend will pick up on his thoughts that he wants him to play dead, which he does, and zaps him. Then he goes back while they're distracted by the giant. He goes through the pile again. He finds another kind of weapon. He doesn't know what it is, but hopefully something he can use. Meanwhile, Tam has been held hostage this whole time, suspended above the dissolving pool. Well, he sees that his dad is trying to save Tam, not realizing the danger she's in, and clunking these vegetable people, and they go to drop her in the pool, but Craig, Tim warned his dad about it, and he manages to save her before she can fall too far in that pool, but while they were gone and the giant was there playing dead, they pricked him with a specific thorn, which temporarily paralyzed him. So now, on Space Station 1, they find out that the giant's home planet is sending has a patrol craft in the area and is coming to pick him up. I said, uh-oh. Then she sees the trouble, and she brings the station down into the atmosphere of the planet, not too awfully far. But as a distraction, the Robinsons have set a fire, not realizing what bad that is, because the whole place starts to burn and is destroying the crystalline structures and is a menace to themselves and to their giant friend. Well, Tim's got that other blaster gun, and he starts zapping the little aliens who are crawling all over, like the Lilliputians crawling all over the giant. He didn't know what it was, but it turns out it's something that temporarily negates gravity, and they start floating away into the sky. And now but the guy's paralyzed. How are they going to get him out of there? Well, he zaps him with the last power of the anti-gravity gun, which lightens him enough that they can tie him up to their spacemobile and then fly away with him before the fire can get there and engulf them. So they save him, but he's too big to get on their space station. But June has released a net of some kind, and so he's suspended in the net underneath the space station, while the Robinsons redock their spacemobile. And then, so remember, they're up in the atmosphere. They can't go any higher, or the guy will die. But his own people have arrived in their spaceship, and they've made friends. He gets off safely, and they get off safely, and leaving the planet to burn itself out. And they set course for what they hope, futilely, will eventually lead them to Earth. Oh, and then there's a text spacey story, a text story on the end. So that was a lot of fun, don't you agree? Oh, I just love Space Family Robinson. It was so good. Even when I enjoyed it so much, even when I finally found out that it wasn't tied into the Lost in Space TV show. In some ways, I'm glad it wasn't, because it ran so much longer than that show would have, than it would have had it been tied into the TV show. So I do want to thank you all for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space, and compare this to the TV show, and which one do you like better? Actually, they made Space Family Robinson was written more seriously than Lost in Space was after the first few episodes, or at least the first season. So so let me know what you think, and remember, boom, comics are art.